Neighborhood planning gives the community direct power to develop a shared vision for their neighborhood and shapes the development plan.
Residents are able to choose the way that they most want to develop their own community through collation and gathering data. We have chosen economic level and urban location as the main basis for classification into the following 6 categories. We found one particular area, the Church Street neighborhood, low-income area surrounded by high-income areas.
So we were curious why Church Street, located in the center of Westminster, was so different from its surroundings. Our historical analysis indicates that Melbourne Station was built around Church Street neighborhood in 1909, and the historical map shows that the spatial layout of the neighborhood changed dramatically after the station was built. The construction of the railway cut Church Street off from Regent's Park in the east, the Mayfair neighborhood in the south, on a spatial level, leaving Church Street an isolated community with a much lower income level than its neighbors. This leads us to analyze Church Street further, and we have found that it is mainly made up of Arab and Bangladesh minorities whose immigration history started as far back as 1950 and who have developed a unique cultural atmosphere in Church Street over the decades. When we walk along Church Street, we feel like we are in another country, which is what makes Church Street even more special. The spatial analysis shows that most of the buildings in Church Street are in residential use, and the main customers of the business are local residents. At the same time, land ownership data shows that almost 18% of the land is public land. On Church Street, the center of the whole community is the market, which has been supplying the daily needs of the locals since it opened hundreds of years ago. Some of these stores still keep family links that has been passed down through generations. However, Church Street is currently facing some challenges with the regeneration plan submitted in 2021, which provided for over 100 additional homes in Church Street. But only a half of these homes are planned to be affordable, which means that the residents on lower income will be forced to move out. If they can no longer afford the rising price, the new housing will bring it to be a new community atmosphere, and the existing local traders may lose their job as well. This is actually the problem of gentrification that Church Street is facing. The government's regeneration plan hopes that additional housing will attract more people to Church Street, but if the original residents and business are forced to leave the area, and the unique culture of Church Street is lost, will Church Street still be the original one? So we began to think, what is the real story of Church Street in a city where people's lives are hiding behind the facade? The most vivid and moving stories actually take place in the daily lives of everyone, the real memories in the mind of everyone in the community. We started with the conception of memory and began to think about how these memories are being stored today, or are there organizations which are doing this? The archive in Church Street can be divided into public and private storage, with public storage at the Westminster Archive Center, Church Street Library, the showroom, the regeneration office, and the neighborhood forum, which is the most closely associated with the community. The majority of private storage is in private physical or economic form. Starting with the two scales, public and private, we continue our analysis of how archives are collected. Most archives at the urban and community scale are organized collections, with the urban scale being mostly government-led. Large scale, general collections. The community scale is mostly shared within a point-to-point region. The personal scale, on the other hand, is fragmented information that is generally shared in a random and private form that is difficult to integrate. We have collected archives and data on Church Street and got many city and community scale resources of archives, as well as building a dataset of images. But information about individual residents or their real memories is not available to get. The neighborhood forum in Church Street is trying to do something similar by developing a neighborhood plan based on the community and trying to collect people's feedbacks. Compared to other neighborhood forums in high-income areas that have developed an orderly structure, the organization of Church Street appeared to be less effective. We have attempted to analyze the problems of neighborhood forums in Church Street from three perspectives: archive sources, operating mode, and expression form. At the level of archive sources, the current collection of archives is limited, and the sources of archives are too mixed. In the terms of operating mode, the current collection is one-sided and one-off, and doesn't form a circular system. The expression form, however, is just a stock of data and documents, without a vivid and powerful expression, and people are not enthusiastic about participating.
In order to solve the three main issues mentioned above, we begin to explore the possibility of helping the Church Street community to collect, preserve, and present its internal memories by designing an interactive game platform. From the perspective of archive source, we want to combine existing community data with possible residents' input into an interactive game platform. In terms of operating mode, the information is fed into platform so that players can repeat the boring research process in a fun and playful way. The ultimate export of community's memory as a whole in a more visual and immersive way. Specifically, residents will be able to create and recreate memories and access memory cubes in three ways provided by the system. The memory cube is a visual representation of abstract memory of the community. As the game design team, we will create memory cubes from existing history and documents within Church Street in advance, and place them in the game environment to inspire memories of the community. Guided by the game mechanics, the player can find commons among the different memory cubes and build a rich dynamic connection between memories through the interaction in the game. By analyzing the patterns and number of connections between the different memories, we can get a memory archive specific to the Church Street community, which is exported by the residents themselves. This will be used as an output of the game and returned to the Church Street in reality. In the entire flow of the game, the creation of memories and the connection of memories will be the key focus. For abstract memories, what kind of interaction should we use to give residents the ability to create and recreate memories on their own? Here, we have designed three modes to help residents express themselves. The first is the upload mode, in which residents can upload images related to the community memories directly to the game platform, combined with the descriptions to form a basic memory cube. Next is the generate mode. With the help of VQ and clip algorithms, players can freely take screenshots in-game and transform them into memories by text input. Finally, in matching and selection mode, as a game development team, we feed 5,000 community images collected in advance into the StyleGAN algorithm, which was trained to extract spatial features of the Church Street community. Thus, in this mode, we provide a user with multiple sets of images by space type. The user can select the image that best matches his or her memory, and by pairing and combining two images, the images are continually converged to the way they look in memory. In the next step, the game needs to help players to systematically define and describe the memory cubes they have created. In the process of memory creation, the player is given images and text descriptions through the three modes. The words and images will form the most basic memory cube. However, due to the abstract and random nature of the community memory, people often lack of standard way of describing and defining community memory in everyday life, and therefore it is often difficult to connect and interact with memories in people's mind in the reality. Since our goal is to help communities generate collective memories through the game interaction, we need a standard method to define and describe community memory, and thus activate community memories. Let the residents' memories make more interaction and connections. We have conducted research on the topic of community collective memory. We realized that the daily life scenarios that occur in a community are input into our brain in two main groups, daily time and special time. The human cognitive system will extract and collect the input at 6 level and store it as memory. In this way, a systematic framework of defining and describing community memory has been created. In the first level, the player will first specify the interactive elements of memory at 3 levels: time, place, and people, together with the image created by the player in the previous step. In the third level, the player describes the perceptual experience associated with the memory and records the atmosphere, special objects, and the special behavior associated with the scenario. These elements of the scene will lead the player to recall the emotions behind the memory. Through the recall of emotions, the player will be able to dig deeper into the symbolic elements behind the memory, such as cultural significance, rituals, landmarks, and so on. In terms of interaction, the player can add small cubes to the basic memory cube by dragging and dropping labels. In this way, the player will be able to customize the shape of the memory cube and interact with it in the multi-dimensional way. As a result, the player now has a complete memory cube and can place in the relevant space in the game. Our team wanted all interactions in the game to be based around memories. Therefore, once a complete memory cube has been created, players can connect the memory cubes to other players' memory cubes and finish the text and challenges accordingly. Depending on the same or similar feature label, memory cubes within a spatial range can be connected as a whole. For example, 2 memory cubes with the same market store label can be linked to each other. In order to create a dynamic game process, the rules of the connections and evolution of the memory cubes are follows. Rules number 1. If a memory cube is successfully connected to 2 or more memory cubes, it is in a stable state. Rules number 2. If the number of connected memory cubes is less than 2, the memory cube is in an unstable state. After a certain time limit, the unstable memory cube will break away from the group and become an individual memory again. In the 2 sections above, we have introduced the process of memory creation and the rules of the memory connection in the game. Based on these settings, the memory cubes between players will be able to build a rich diversity of variations. As the game progresses, the memory cubes within the game will take on 3 main states. The first is the individual memories that exist independently, like neurons in the human brain. This individual memory represents a more private part of the community memory. The second type of memory is group memory, which is usually found among family members or among friends, classmates, and colleagues. The third type is the community collective memory, which is often created and connected by the majority of residents in the community. It is a type of memories that represents shared agreements and common perspective within the community. These 3 types of memories in the game are combined to form a community memory archive. This archive, created by community's participation, will be continually updated. Ideally, as more and more players participate in the game, this memory archive will become richer and generate a more powerful collective memory. After some time, the system could collate the memory archive in-game into a booklet. This can be distributed to residents in the community, stored in the community library, or presented to the government as a powerful material of the neighborhood plan. The connection between the virtual and reality can also be built through QR code or augmented reality experiences, allowing the game to help communities deal with the issues in real life. Let's take a look at the development progress of our team so far. Once inside the game environment, players will be able to roam around the virtual Church Street community and explore the memory cubes that already exist within the game. During this process, players will be able to learn about the elements that make up the memory cube. During the rooming process, players can create a memory cube at any time in any space that triggers their memories. After getting the basic memory cube, the player will then go to the define interface to build their own complete memory cube by adding labels. Once the memory cube has been saved, the player can return to the game environment and place the memory cube in the relevant space. Players can look for similarities with other players' memory cubes and build a rich connection based on them. As more and more players participate, a rich collective memory will be created. Players can roam inside the collective memory, view the memories created by other players, and fly through the different players' memory through the label channels. Through the development of an interactive gaming platform, we hope to spark discussion and awareness of community memories among residents. Through free creation and interaction, residents will be able to participate in the process of collecting and presenting community memories. In this way, we aim to enhance the residents' sense of belonging and identity to the community.